The Austin HealthMate 400 can purify the air in a conference hall in 15 fewer minutes than it takes the Ergo 750 air purifier to do the same job. Together, the two machines can purify the air in the conference hall in 10 minutes. How long would it take each machine working alone to purify the air in the room? Well, what's the unknown? Well, there's a couple of them, right? So I do want to see this step. I want to see the step where you name your unknowns. When you can't draw it, you better name it. Well, okay, there's going to be an X. Just looking at a couple of things here. So it's how long for each machine, right? So X is time, and it's got to be in what units? Minutes in this case. So X is going to be the number of minutes or minutes, but we have to determine, okay, is it going to be the number of minutes of the first air purifier or the second one? And here's a trick that'll help you with that. But we have to read it again in order for you to understand the trick. The Austin HealthMate 400 can purify the air in a conference hall in 15 fewer minutes than it takes the Ergo air purifier. So the first one is faster than the second one, right? That's what it's saying. So almost always, when it compares one to the other like this, you're going to let X be the second one, the time it takes the second one. And then you can just take 15 minutes off X to get the first one. Almost always. So let X equal the number of minutes, or just minutes, it takes the Ergo, I'm going to shorten it to just Ergo, to finish. What do I mean by that? To finish purifying the air in the room, but that's good enough. So if you want, you can put the number, # for number. Number of minutes it takes for the Ergo to finish. And then I kind of gave it away, but if you look at that first sentence, the Austin HealthMate does the job in 15 fewer minutes than it takes the Ergo. So what are you going to call the time, the number of minutes it takes the Austin to finish? Well, you said it, right? It's going to be, you want to keep as few unknowns as possible, so it's going to be X minus 15. Does everybody see that? That's a useful trick I just showed you. When it compares one thing to the other, it's usually the second thing you call X. I can't say that works every time, but it works a lot. Okay? All right. Now, we know that together they can purify the air in 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes for both to finish purifying the air. So I'm just making some scribblings here to help you understand. So what's absolutely necessary when you set this up? The first two guys I'd like to see in the red box. I'd like to see that work. Now to flip things. Just flip them. If it takes 10 minutes for both to finish, how much of the job, how much of the room would have its air purified in 1 minute if they're both turned on working together? 1/10 of the job, right? 10%. So to do what I did in the last problem, I could say this. Together, they finish 1/10 of the job being purifying the air, in, well, units of time, so 1 minute, right? Does that make sense? Okay, now do the same thing with X and X minus 15. So the Ergo, how much of the job does the Ergo finish in 1 minute?
X.
Well, no, remember we take the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of X?
1 over X.
1 over X. The Ergo finishes 1 over X. I'm going to use ditto marks from here on out. 1 over X of the job in 1 minute, right? Isn't that in line with what we did in the last problem? And then the Austin finishes how much of the job in 1 minute?
X minus 15.
But what do you do with it? 1 over X minus 15 of the job in 1 minute. Okay? If you can come up with these guys, then you can set up the related equation. So which two of them are you going to add? Which one's going to be by itself on one side? Which two are you going to add? You should add the individual speeds, the individual rates at which they finish the job, and set it equal to the rate at which they finish the job working together. So what would that equation look like? 1 over x minus 1 over, or 1 over x plus 1 over x minus 15 equals 1/10. And then you solve for x. So I set it up. That's the hard part. I'm going to let you guys finish it from here. Basically, the LCD, you're going to clear the fractions. The LCD is going to be x times quantity x minus 15 times 10, and you're going to multiply through by that and clear out the denominators, much like we did in the last problem.